Jamie, Mr. G teacher, welcome to the School of Influence podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here, man. It's been a long time in the making.
It has. What a journey. What a journey it's been.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it feels like the journey's only just beginning.
100%.
I want to start with, what was it like for you growing up unaware you had ADHD?
Great question. I sometimes feel that I get like a little bit imposter syndrome looking back. I did massively struggle with emotional regulation, but I also, I did well at school. I was popular. I was in the football team, and yeah, sometimes I feel a little bit guilty of them seeing other people's ADHD journeys. I did well at school, but I also, did mask a lot of my traits. A lot of my actual true personality wasn't shown, especially because I was in a really good peer group, really good, group of lads, and I had a side of me that they never seen. Now, it was probably a little bit of RSD kicking in, the fear of a kind of failure and criticism and rejection, but what it was just perceived fear. Like, I know looking back that the lads like wouldn't have been bothered at all, and what I'm referring to is things like I used to like literature, and that's quite unheard of for like a young teenage lad to be like into literature, into writing. I was the only lad in top set English, 29 girls and me. I always had a little bit of a passion for writing. I was predicted to get B's in my GCSE, and I had an amazing English teacher. I don't know if he's still alive. It'd be amazing if he is, Mr. Cleland. And he saw like potential in me. And what he said was, if you come to a few extra sessions, we'll definitely be able to get you an A. And when I had that target, I was like, right, I'm going to do that. But I kind of masked. I didn't tell the lads this. Probably linked to RSD again. So I used to say it, because they wouldn't know this, I was the only lad in top set English. I used to say it, I've got a lunchtime detention. So and they never kind of clicked on, why are you getting so many lunchtime detentions? And what I was doing was extra English.
Why did you feel the need to hide it from them?
I don't know. I think it was just judged, like RSD, like fear of being judged, or what it is, insecurity. I don't know what it was. Like not being able to take the banter, probably linked them obviously my emotions and being obviously knowing what I have now, but not back then. So yeah.
Did you feel that you were different? Like there was something like different about the way that your brain worked, or had you not really like identified that at that stage?
I don't know. Look, I feel like I was, yeah, in some aspects, yeah, I had a really geeky side, which I hid away. I'm just like, well, like why did I hide that? I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I've read all the Harry Potter books. Kind of grew up, and reading wasn't cool back then, and there's still that kind of stigma around it now, and that's why we'll talk about the book later. That's why I wanted it obviously to challenge that. But yeah, looking back, there was teachers that completely didn't understand. I had a really bad time in certain subjects. I've had comments, he's just lazy, just can't apply himself, looking out the window, easily loses focus, and things on school reports. And you look back at, when you dig out the school report, you think, God, how was this missed?
Yeah.
And we didn't know, but the neuroscience wasn't as developed as it is now. The awareness is getting better. There's still loads more work to do, but it is getting better. And ADHD, even when I started my role in teaching children with their social, emotional, mental health challenges, it was originally called EBD, which stands for emotional behavioural difficulties. And even then, when I first started, like 17 as a volunteer, ADHD was considered a myth. And that was in a setting that was designed for like these type of children. It was just, naughty parenting, environmental. I listened to a podcast and said, is modern parenting causing ADHD? Absolutely not. It's a load of absolute rubbish. It's genetic. It's a neurodevelopmental. It's something you're born with. Yes, the environment can exaggerate and can amplify certain traits, but it doesn't contribute to ADHD at all. So what was the original question?
Well, we just started with your sort of journey and like how it felt for you.
Oh, I'm asking,
Yeah.
and yeah. So those comments, you know, I've had them all before, looking back, and how was my hyperactivity missed? I was so hyperactive, and the reason I think it was channeled through competitive sport from an early age. So, you know, I was obsessed with football. I was really active, and I was playing football probably 3, 4, 5 times a week. Going out in the garden, you know, just doing kick-ups in the garden, just repetitive, which looking back was amazing for my ADHD being that repetition.
It's like movement. Like movement is a big thing that you champion.
And absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's why my hyperactivity was missed. I think it was, you know, channeled. My external hyperactivity, obviously, I've always had like a busy brain, a busy brain racing thoughts and things like that. The internal hyperactivity, but the external hyperactivity obviously, you know, wasn't picked up. And I think that was one of the reasons, because it was channeled through sport.
It makes you wonder how many like pupils there are at schools out there who have got the ADHD or neurodivergent conditions that they're masking as well. Like, how many people do you think are actually like undetected in the system?
Millions, I would say. It's more prevalent in girls masking than it is in boys. That's been proved statistically, through the neuroscience.
Why do you think that is?
Stigma a little bit, and a lack of awareness and understanding. You know, girls would be, oh, they're just a little bit too chatty. Oh, and actually that's a sign of being hypertalkative, which is, you know, a key trait in ADHD. Fidgeting, you know, going to be like fidgeting with, you know, with your hair or, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm not a girl, so I'm always wary of like getting this right for my audience, and I always take on guidance from my female followers, like around this as well. Yeah.
Doesn't seem there's as much talk around that as there is in the male sort of ADHD space.
Yeah, well, there's 3 different, obviously, types of ADHD: the inattentive type, the combined type, the hyperactive impulsive type. And you can kind of flick between if you got combined type, it doesn't mean that. So for me, sometimes my inattentiveness will kind of outweigh my hyperactivity. So it's always there. It's just one's more prevalent than the other. It could be, you know, if something's coming up, I could be extremely hyperactive, whereas sometimes I would say predominantly I'm more inattentive. My inattentive traits outshine my hyperactivity. Actually, that's probably outrageous. I think if you're looking at my content stuff, you can definitely see, you know, you can see the impulsivity there. You can see the inattentiveness kind of switching off. You see that quite a bit. What I do as well, my working memory is that poor, and when I'm obviously editing my content, I'm really hyper aware of this now, that my working memory is that poor. I can forget what I say instantly. And when I've come to do the captions, you know, insert the captions when I'm doing my editing, I'll notice I'm saying the same word twice, and that's because my brain's already thinking 6 steps ahead. And it's hard to slow it. It's really hard to slow it down. Really hard.
How did you cope, like growing up like with brothers and sisters and in your family? Like, does anyone else got ADHD or neurodivergent?
I'm the first one officially diagnosed with any form of neurodivergence. But that's not to say there's not neurodivergence in my family.
Right. And was it a struggle for you, like growing up, like being the only one? Like, did you?
I didn't know. I didn't really know. I just thought I was going through all these. Like, I did quite well. My memory's terrible as well, so it's not very accurate. Like, I remember really, you know, distinct things from the past, and then like I'll forget someone's name instantly. But yeah, no, I'm not sure.
You're like, you didn't get treated in like a certain way, or like, your mum didn't, like, you know, pull you up on certain behavior styles. No,
not that I can remember. I was always aware that I was very hypersensitive. There's one story, a family story that I still get some stick with now. Rightly so, looking back. and went on holiday with a friend, and it's like someone he took a chip, and I literally stormed off into the mountains. So
He what? He took a chip.
he just took a chip off my plate,
Right.
and because he was on holiday with us and he was getting a lot of attention from my mum and stepdad at the time, I couldn't deal with it. It was and he was getting like loads of attention, and he came on holiday with us, and I really struggled with it.
Yeah.
In a point where I literally stormed off into the mountains, used my like flight response, and it's just like what's going on there? That was a sign of thinking, I'm not controlling my emotions great here. Like that is something so minor, and but that's what ADHD can be. It's 0 to 100 over sometimes nothing, or like something seemingly
So is
minor.
that a form of RSD, like what you experienced then?
Yeah, looking back,
Yeah.
most likely, definitely rejection.
For like the listeners, can you like explain what RSD is?
Absolutely.
Like?
So RSD is Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, and it's linked to a extreme emotional pain that you feel, but you can also feel it physically if you're neurodivergent. So nobody likes rejection. If you're neurotypical neurodivergent, nobody likes it.
Mm-hmm.
But for a neurodivergent, they feel it different. For me, I get like a knot in my stomach to the point where I experience it with my book. Done very successful, done amazing, instant Sunday Times bestseller. Maybe 1,000 5-star reviews, and I'll focus on the 1-star review, and it'll hurt. It'll really hurt, and it's something that I've had to, kind of deal with and manage over time. And I'm so glad it is a chapter and one of the main components of my second book. Which I don't think we can reveal the title, can we? Without doing that?
No. We'll maybe say that just in case. But with RSD, is it something that you can train yourself to get better at? Do you think?
With time, yeah, absolutely. There's definitely strategies, and every RSD experience, you learn from it. I think it's important to reflect from those experiences as well. With RSD, it can be actual criticism. So like when I got a 1-star review, actual criticism, but it can also be perceived. So it's not actually happening, and you just kind of overthinking it could happen, like thinking of the worst. So like I had that kind of leading up when I was releasing the book, like the pre-orders, thinking, God, what if everyone hates it? What happens if I let the ADHD community down? And yeah, it can weigh you down. I talk about the few strategies in the book. For me, it's important when you experience RSD, is just to pause for a second and think, right, is this actual criticism, or is this perceived? Does this have to be does this have to be a big issue? Is this gonna like ruin my day? Because Kate, my wife's amazing. She'll be like, she'll know when I've been hit by like RSD, like when it's an actual hit, an actual attack, RSD attack, and she'll be like, what's happened? And I'll be like, oh, I've had, it's like, right, it's like, okay, like you're with your family, don't let it ruin your day. And I'm just like really trying, but it can't sometimes. Also, and this is what I'm working on, is my mood and my RSD attacks and the way I deal with it can impact my family, and that's something that I need to get better at.
Yeah,
I'm actively working on that, because I do get hit by RSD like really bad, and I want kids to know that they're not alone, and I'm going to teach them how to create their own RSD shield, so they can. You're always going to take a bit of damage, but it's going to reduce the damage taken. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to train their brains to develop this shield that's based on key components such as pausing, such as breathing, such as sometimes like accepting it, thinking, okay, this is what it is, right? What am I going to do? Then challenge it. Right, is this something I needed to challenge with straight away? Do I really need to respond to that 1-star review? And then just be aware of like the bigger picture, right? This book has changed, it's changed a life. It's changed one life, and I know deep down it's changed way more than that. So if it hasn't changed that if that person's had a negative experience for it, that's one person. I'm not gonna. I am a people pleaser, and I am a perfectionist. I want to please everyone all the time, and it's not achievable. And sometimes I need to kind of lower my expectations of myself to be. You don't have to be this. You have this drive for perfection.
Well, you've got over 1.5 million followers. Like, if you were trying to please all of them all the time, that's a lot of responsibility for anyone. And you're in the public eye, so you're going to face some level of
That's it. Of course,
criticism,
of course,
and trolling. Yeah,
absolutely.
But like, what about like rejection therapy? You hear about like rejection therapy in business. Like, they say that get used to being told no, basically, because you're going to need to be told no however many times sometimes just to get to where you want to be. Like, do you think that you could just...
Oh yeah, it's... Yeah, definitely. But I think we can definitely reframe our language in schools to be more inclusive and aware of RSD. So, I've had things like examples where public humiliation's being used, and that is so damaging for RSD.
in school?
Oh yeah, in front of the class, like you're
Yeah.
and that's public humiliation. That's something we're trained in SEND and SMH from the very get-go, the damage of that. So if you need to pull a child, rightly so, try and do it in a way that's not going to, embarrass them in front of the peers, because you will experience negative behavior change if you just absolutely, yeah.
Well, that sticks with you for life as well. Like in school,
Yeah.
I mean, I can even think about times in school where the teacher would have said something which is like, called you out. I remember I was passing a love note once in primary school, and the teacher found the note and read it out in front of the class.
Oh, God,
yeah, I was
that. Oh, that would be awful.
I would have been like 6 or 7 years old, and I could remember that now, like clear as day.
Yeah.
So that's what it like. And for you, like when that guy stole your chips, like that's that stuck with you until now. Weird how those moments really do, hang on for us. So what do you think needs to like? If you could change like one thing in the education system to be more to cater for neurodivergent minds, like what would you do? And can it be done?
It definitely can be done.
Yeah.
God, where do I begin? Let's just take assessment.
Okay.
As an example. So I've worked in kind of primary all the way through to secondary. Recently transferred to secondary like 2-3 years. So I've seen like the GCSEs and the kind of end goal, and the way we assess our children is based on like the Victorian model that it's built off the neurotypical brains. We are not capturing the brilliance of our neurodivergent kids. We're not. We are only testing them on their ability to recall and retain information, and to sit down in a setting for sometimes, a 2-hour exam. We know our ADHD children, can't sit through that. There's only so many you can put in through like different accommodations to make it more inclusive. For the JCQ are doing a lot better now. So you can put in like a movement break if you wanted to. So you can cut the time, go for a break, and come back. That's great, but still the ability to retain information. We know children who are neurodivergent have issues with working memory and processing information. They have issues with executive function. Sometimes they just can't initiate to start the task. Whereas if we put them outside on something that's into a creative role, they will absolutely thrive. We are not capturing the amazing creativity these neurodivergent children have. We are just judging them on the ability to sit an exam at the end. And that's one thing I would look at, because we're failing these children. They're leaving with limited qualifications. So my model would be, let's focus in the morning on your maths and English, key life skills for any job, and make sure they're safe online and that they're digitally equipped, because we're moving in that direction. So make sure that safe online, they can read, they can write, they can do basic maths that they need. And then in the afternoon, let's pursue personal, passionate interests. So if we've got a child who's obsessed with, say trains, let's work around getting an apprenticeship to do with LNER and build that skill set. If we've got a lad who wants to be a scaffolder, right? So why from year 9 to 11 they can have 2 years experience and actually using their skills in a creative way? You know, I've learned so much more through practice than I have through theory.
How do you diversify the curriculum to cater for all of those like interests though? If we were to do that, like every afternoon would be postal interest.
You in year 9, you normally have your options anyway.
Yeah.
But it's things, you know,
It's a bit more
could be like art, history.
focused.
But I was like really explore the apprenticeship route. I remember my school used to have a day where you could do engineering for a day or Wednesday. You do go engineering, and there was a chance that you could get an apprenticeship and a job in like, you know, in a major industry after that. I think there needs to be a little bit more links to like major companies who can. It's definitely like pathways, because we're training. You know, the models kind of was made to try and get people to be like working in like, you know, in factories and those type of roles where, you know, the world has massively developed, yet we're still teaching our kids to be, you know, the same. The curriculum I'm teaching, you know, Shakespeare to children who have, you know, extreme social, emotional, mental health difficulties. In reality is they're never going to use Shakespeare in their lives. So why are we doing it? Really? Why are we teaching Shakespeare? I get like that could be, you know, an interest. It was an interest for me as well. So and I love Shakespeare, but what I'm trying to say is it's not suitable for all.
And so your curriculum is the same.
Exactly the same. So
as
we're a maintained special school. So which is, you know, this is mind blowing. So we have children who have been excluded from free mainstream schools to come to us. So we know that mainstream national curriculum has failed in effect 3 times. Yet we'll be like, okay, come to our provision. It's smaller class settings, so don't get me wrong, but you're a maintained special school. You legally have to follow the national curriculum and just adapt it. So I'll be adapting it in any way I can, but there's only so much adapting you can do. And it's especially when you get to year 10, 11, when it's a slog, and our children just don't have the resilience to keep up. And there needs to be something alternative for them.
Yeah, absolutely. What is like some of the challenges that you think that teachers are facing in mainstream and in SEMH settings?
So mainstream workload is you know, is a massive issue. We're still trying to get this right now. Haven't got that right. And it's this kind of perception of, and this kind of standard that you're required to put in so many extra hours after, you know, marking like 2-3 hours a night. You could be doing like HCP reports. It's just endless, and you always feel like you're catching up. You're not, you know, you're never ahead as a teacher. So I find you're always one step behind, and you're always trying to catch up. There's always something coming up. Mainstream's got a massive. They're doing an amazing job. They can only do so much, and what I'm worried about is this push from the government to include more SEND children in mainstream settings is going to put extra burden on not just obviously the teacher, the teaching assistant. So I've worked all the way through being a volunteer, all the way up for teaching assistant, a teacher, middle leader, senior leader, and I've probably worked the hardest as a TA. It's literally non-stop, because what you're having to do is you're taking the bulk of the behavior off the teacher so they can support the other students. So if you have a disruptive student in class who needs support, it'll be the TA's role primarily to support that child, whether that's like on a one-on-one basis, whether that's outside the classroom in a small group setting. And yeah, it's relentless for that TA, and the conditions for the teaching assistants are just terrible. And it's what I think should happen. SEND teachers get like a SEND allowance. So if there's such a push with SEND kids in mainstream, I think all teaching assistants, teachers should all get this SEND allowance. on top of the wage, which would be a nice little financial boost every
Yeah.
month. Just a little bit of recognition to be like, yeah, we've got you. Because, you know, there's a lack of people wanting to be teaching assistants because you can get a better paid job as a delivery driver. So why
Yeah.
put you through the stress of education environment when you can get paid more, and you can and you can live a life that is not going to be as stressful.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of teachers really do it for the love of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We obviously, every teacher gets into education because they want to make a difference, and they want to inspire the future generation. But it is a worry with the SEND reforms, like how our mainstream's going to cope, because we've tried this in the past, having additionally resource provisions attached to mainstreams, and then they got overrun. And I'm just worried about these SEND inclusion bases, and I've just got a vision of it just being the neurodivergent child who's not settling in class. All right, you're going to the SEND inclusion base, right? I don't want to. Then what do? You're going to physically move that child, because then you're in deep water there. Like, how is that going to actually look in practice? I've seen this stuff in practice. How is it actually going to work? If you've got a child who's majorly, dysregulated in the classroom, how are you going to transport them from there to the SEND inclusion base? So yeah, and I don't know is that inclusion, right?
Well, it doesn't sound like it.
Right, you're struggling in class today, Lewis. You're going at the SEND inclusion base away from your peers, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. Then what do?
Or you're being excluded from the environment you're in to get there in the first place. Yeah. So so obviously, like, I can see your vision of how, like, the curriculum should work, but we know these things are, like, the system takes a long time to actually change.
Yeah.
So with the SEND reforms, like, what would you kind of like see as like an ideal process that they could put in place, like, immediately?
What I've found when speaking to parents is that obviously the government are pushing this narrative that parents want their children to be educated in the local school with their local peers, and that's not the same message I've received when I've done like a poll to 2,000 parents. They said they just want their child's needs to be met. The issue is there sometimes isn't a specialist placement available, a specialist setting available in the local area, and that's due to funding. To actually create a bespoke setting, it's going to cost a lot of money. If you're talking like sensory rooms, you're talking like outdoor space. My school was built next to a major road. We don't have a school field. We've never had a school field, yet we know the importance of movement, space, burning off that energy for our neurodivergent kids. We don't have a school field. That hasn't been addressed since that school's been built.
So the solution would be to have more settings, but yeah, that's obviously that's not on the roadmap, really, is it? Yeah. But I'd even argue, like, the things that you said about the curriculum and how the day should play out and stuff, I'd say that should be across the board, not just linked to like neurodivergent learners. I think that
100%.
there needs to be that freedom. I had creative interest when I was younger as well, and you kind of, even like the exam settings, sitting in a room for 2 hours, is not like a natural process for us as human beings, I don't think. So I'm not surprised that the education system seems to be sort of failing people and not actually preparing them for real life situations, which is obviously what we want to change.
Definitely needs to be more training for neurodivergence as well, from actually people who are neurodivergent, who have got lived experiences being through it. Because obviously there's going to be a rise of neurodivergence in mainstream schools. So we've got a responsibility and a duty to get that right as well.
Well, that's the value in obviously your content and your knowledge. Like, you have got all this amazing first-hand experience from 18 years in the classroom?
Yes, 17
years, yeah. And so, like,
80 now. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, mate. 80 now.
Yeah, getting on. Yeah. So, like, how do you kind of see it going? Like, what's next for you within education? What are your movements?
So I haven't took this decision lightly at all, but I am actually leaving teaching. So I'm going to, it's emotional but super exciting. I came to a point where I feel I can make make a difference on a much larger scale, and I feel kind of caged and trapped almost like a bird, and I'm not being able to spread my wings and actually fly, and I'm getting pushed in all directions. Can you go to speak to this school? Can you go speak to this school? Can you support with this? Can you give me some advice for this? And I just don't have the capacity because all my energy is kind of tied up in my role as an assistant head, and it's 100 mile an hour. I never have time to reflect. But it's very cliche, but I do think I've been put on this planet to make a difference to neurodivergent children. As soon as I walked in as a volunteer, I clicked with them. I'm able to form positive relationships, and I feel that I won't be true to myself with the certain reforms if I just sit back and not impart my knowledge and my wisdom. I feel like I would have failed myself, and I know my audience would 100% behind us in whatever I do, and I know they would understand why I'm going in this direction. I've got so much more to give, and that I'm always, very passionate in what I do, and I'm always striving to be the best version of myself. At the minute, in my current setting, I don't think I'm the best version of myself.
I think it's very brave of you, and I've seen that. I've seen like you are an incredibly inspirational guy. I could see how you inspire your audience and how there is the demand from your audience to do more. And I can obviously see like, you're at that stage now where,
I had an opportunity where I'd done a signed book giveaway, and really coincidentally, and I was like, can you send me the address? This, I done it on all my social media platforms. And one social media platform, I said, can you give me my address? And I was like, hang on a minute, that place is like 15, 20 minutes from where I live. So I reached out to the mom and say, can I come down? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. It was just like, would you mind me like filming this to kind of raise awareness? I was just meant to be knocking on his door, giving the book and that type of thing, because I think it's really important for that. And then she was like, well, why like, so I knocked on the door not expecting anything. She's like, why don't you come in and have a chat with this young lad with ADHD? And like, how brave of him to do that. And I was inspired by that. And he was struggling with a bit of acceptance, whereas I've been through that, and there's so much more to get. And that's just one child. His mom said, oh, that was amazing, he's buzzing. And if I go through my DMs, it's just floods of just, can you help? Can you help? Can you help? Can you help? And it's so disheartening because I'm not answering any of those messages, and it's because I don't have the actual capacity to do it.
It must be even more disheartening to be going into a school and not being able to help in the way that people need help as well.
Yeah, that's one of my decisions to leave as well, is my beliefs and my morals and what I stand for now don't align with the schools anymore. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, well, it's important. You got to follow your gut, follow your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And my heart is telling me it's, Peter Parker said to Miles Morales, it's just a leap of faith. That's all it is, a leap of faith. Am I scared? Absolutely. Am I excited? Absolutely. But I think I'd be doing a disservice to myself if I didn't, explore this. I've been given a platform now to be able to help millions of people, and at the minute, I think I'm only impacting, a select few in my current setting.
Yeah, well, the potential is huge. Your audience will support you. I support you. School of Influence supports you. So it is exciting. Like,
Absolutely.
The potential impact that you have there is huge.
I can't just sit back and not challenge things. And yeah, very, very cliche, but I want to make a difference, and I want to change the world.
You are already making a difference though as well. I know I have to keep reminding you of this, but you are already making a huge difference.
It's never enough.
Yeah.
Lewis, obviously dopamine as well. So I think dopamine has been a massive strength for me. Looking back, ADHDers have a lack of dopamine going through this. I'm always chasing something, so I can never settle for, anything less than what these kids deserve. And that dopamine is kind of fueling me to be like, right, okay, what next? And nobody's listening. Right, what next? Right, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what comes next.
Me too.
So moving on slightly from like education, just like talking a bit more about like your journey and your success and stuff. Obviously, you're Sunday Times best-selling author now,
Yeah.
and you are a like content creator. Do you think that your ADHD is linked to your creativity and your success?
Absolutely. And also absolutely. I think I can. I'm at my autism pathway. Just to I've had a follower say, "Oh, have you ever explored autism?" And my life being 100 by now, I was like, "Well, no, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to explore that yet." So I scored 9 out of 10 on like the AQ10, which is like a pre tool that if they say like you may, if you score like over, I think it's over 6, like you may like have autism. So I'm on that journey. So I noticed there's a major link if you've got ADHD. I'm not sure of the statistics, but yeah, there's a very high chance you also have autism. It's called ADHD. And I feel there's a constant battle going on inside my own brain. So think like you're into your boxing. So think about like in the blue corner is the ADHD, and then in the red corner is like the autism, and they're kind of fighting against each other. But it's my brain that's taking some of the damage, because I'm always kind of fighting with myself. What I mean by that is with my ADHD, I love the chaos and I thrive under chaos, but I can also get like overwhelmed by the chaos as well. And there's certain things my brain craves: nostalgia, new experiences, but I'm also ridiculously routined, and I don't like changes to my routine. Probably why I've been in school for 17 years as well. So it's time for something new for sure.
Yeah. What are the key things from the autism spectrum that you're kind of like detecting?
One of them was like the big picture, or it notices the small minute details, and I was like, I'm the small minute. I can see things that sometimes other people can't. Especially from like a leadership point of view, I look for a solution and be, oh yeah, we didn't think of that. And it is, it is a special ability of some sorts to be able to. I've forgotten what the term is when it's a type of creativity. It's because I took this section out of my book, so I came out of my head.
Yeah.
It was to do with creativity, and it was some type of neurodivergent thinking, where you're able to see, like, obviously beyond the box, different things. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah. At what stage, I mean, I don't know about the science like to it, if you know the science to it, but like what stage does neurotypical become neurodivergent? Because like there's so many pieces of content out there. If I could just like say that there's so many pieces of content out there now that people watch on TikTok or whatever it is, and they're basically self-diagnosing themselves with ADHD or autism or whatever it is.
Well, it's neurodevelopmental, and it's genetic. We know that, but sometimes it might not present into a certain way. So normally, I think the average age for ADHD is normally age 7. You get diagnosed. But there's because of the awareness now, there's parents are recognizing the traits and identifying them way earlier. So we know we've had children age 4 or 5 diagnosed with ADHD. Autism can be spotted even earlier as well, because you can pick it up. And autism is so broad, but yeah, you can identify autism at an earlier age than ADHD.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seems more complex, but like with ADHD, there are like a lot of symptoms which it seems like just some of them kind of just spill over into just being a human. Like this is what it seems like for me. Like I'm terrible at time keeping. Like I have an issue. Like I'm generally like late for things.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like yourself, like chasing dopamine, that sort of stuff.
Well, it's a great point. So it'd be like, well, everyone's got a little bit of ADHD. No.
Yeah. So that's obviously what
you have to have it all. You have to have. You can't just be like you say there. I'm defective in one area, or have struggles in one area. It's you have struggles in all the areas. That's what it's not just And it depends on what you're being diagnosed with as well. If it's the inattentive type,
Right.
you won't have issues with external hyperactivity, but you will have struggles with internal hyperactivity, with your brain having racing thoughts, um, like decision paralysis, time blindness, inner monologues. So, yeah.
It's interesting because obviously none of us can ever relate to being in someone else's mind. So, you know, whilst I know that I have, you know, inner monologues,
Yeah.
and I am, you know, can be scatty, and I probably have like had issues dealing with like rejection in the past. Like you speak on them like with real severity. It's like I just so curious as to what the inside of an ADHD mind actually would look like.
In my brain right now, if you imagine you're very techy, so imagine you got your laptop out and you've got like 12 tabs open.
Oh yeah. Oh man, instantly that's given me
So-
anxiety just thinking about it.
So
Yeah.
imagine I've got all these tabs going. It could be like random songs, little things that'll come up. The Lord of the Rings tune is kind of always humming slightly in the background. It's and I got this weird thing, and I don't know if it was linked to being in the classroom or it was linked to my ADHD internal hyperactivity, where sometimes after a day of teaching, when I'm going to bed at like 10, 11, and you normally where your brain is normally trying to switch off. ADHD is, that's why we struggle to sleep, it doesn't switch off. I was hearing like classroom noise, like do you know like some of those like content videos where it's like, you know, teachers are like have got that sound playing and it's just general classroom noise and like that chatter and that kind of, but I just had that, and I used to get that quite a bit where it was just like I can hear a classroom but I'm not in it. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And just trying to turn it off sometimes is, yeah. I'm going to look into some more tips for, you know, internal hyperactivity, but I don't think you can truly silence everything that's going on unless you're maybe going down the medication route. I'm obviously not medicated, so and that's a personal choice. A little bit arrogant in some ways where I'm just like, well, you know, I was diagnosed at 34, so last year, and I'd be like, oh, well, I've managed, you know, 33 years, and it's kind of shaped who I am.
Why did you wait so long to go for a diagnosis out of interest?
I would say lack of understanding, lack of awareness. Definitely, yeah. I don't know. So I've always had, even from 17, I had a natural ability to relate to these neurodivergent children, and it was unique. But looking back, it was because I shared this similar brain type, and I had a natural. I couldn't explain why I was able to form positive relationships so easily with the most extreme and vulnerable kids. You know, the most children with severe mental health issues, children who are neurodivergent, and some children who some teachers are taking, you know, months to build, and I was able to do it, you know, in weeks. And it goes back to connection. Even back then, I had an idea that I just need to connect to these children and to gain their trust. And I think that that's so important with any form of neurodivergence, is that connection. Positive relationships, it's heavily documented, are the key to everything. And sometimes it can take longer to develop that positive relationship, but then everything like falls into place from that. And I think being there through the most vulnerable moments for that child as well. So no matter what presentation that child comes through my classroom door with, they know I've got them. Whether they're really struggling one day, with their emotions, something's happened, you know, even if they become aggressive towards me, they'll know I'll handle that in the most controlling and caring way and support them through those tough moments as well. To be like, well, he's not just here for the positive stuff. Like, he's kind of like my safe person in one aspect. And then so it wasn't, I've helped fill out hundreds, probably hundreds, probably maybe thousands of feedback forms for to CAMS to try and to recognize trait. I say this. I think I've got an idea that this child may have ADHD, and you fill out a form to CAMS, and then CAMS would they have to go through like the assessment.
So are they already a student at your school at this point, and then you're kind of looking at their behavior and
exactly that. And then CAMS will send a form out, and you'll send all the information. Or it could be a child already diagnosed with ADHD, and it's kind of like a top up form. So they periodically say, "Can you send us? It's normally the same stuff. Can you provide an update on this? When is like attention being reduced? When do you notice the child's more impulsive? Things like this." And it wasn't until one day that I reflected on that document and just related to myself. I just had a moment. It's just like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I'm hitting like all of these. I'm just like, and then it was just like a light bulb moment, thinking, this is it. This explains everything. This is why was able to do what I did at an early age, and had this ability to relate to these children, neurodivergent, ADHD, autism. It's because I am neurodivergent. And when I got the diagnosis, it's really interesting. So if you're a late diagnosed adult, please listen to this bit. So I hope this helps someone. When I was diagnosed with an adult, a lot of my followers said, "Watch out for the grief part." And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And they say, you'll grieve for your former, like what could have been your childhood self. Getting a bit emotional, but looking back, I'm proud of him.
You should be, man. You've done amazing things.
Jeez.
So good. Take a minute, man. Take a minute, of course. It's brave of you to come out with it. You should be proud.
Thanks, man.
You've done some really amazing things, and like everyone who follows you is proud of you. And I think there's a lot of people right now watching this who probably will be able to relate to, what you're saying.
Yes, man.
What do you think that you would have changed growing up?
It would have made a massive difference in some areas, but it has kind of shaped who I am today. I'm super proud to be neurodivergent. But yeah, it's always known, extra support would have been amazing. Don't get me wrong. And to kind of overcome adversity, it has shaped who I am today. And yeah, I'm proud of that young lad.
Did you have other role models in your life who kind of supported you on your journey as well?
Not as such, to be honest. I've always went in, I've had some tough experiences in school, and I've always had the view of, I don't have these amazing inspirational stories from school. I had a decent PE teacher, really good PE teacher who saw the potential, but that was linked to my movement, and obviously it was controlling all the hyperactivity. But I've also had some really bad experiences in certain lessons, and I've always had the view, be the teacher that you didn't have. So, and I know it's quite a rubbish one, but I've always wanted to be that guy who you wanted to have when you were growing up.
What do you think about the importance of like male role models?
Absolutely massive. I think it's great that I've showed true emotion, like looking, because this is, there's a stigma that real men can't show emotion. It's absolute rubbish. I cry all the time. So I'm the biggest crier ever, and crying is not a sign of being weak. It's a sign that you're actually strong. Positive male role models are absolutely massive. There is a lack of them out there, and I hope I can be a guide. Everyone.
What are some like morals that you stand by? Like, what would you define as like a positive male role model?
A question. I think it becomes, I don't know, actually.
It's interesting because like I really think of you as one.
Oh, really?
Like, there's like yourself and a lot of the guys on the roster. I'm really proud of like to be working with guys who I see as like real positive influences on young males and just young people in general, you know.
I
But
think it's just someone, who's just inclusive and just aware of things. The when I look at negative male role models, it's they normally have a barrier to some form of inclusion, whether it's a hatred towards women or what, they only have like and for me, a true male role model is someone who's like truly inclusive.
yeah,
Of all. So no matter race, religion, you just treat you treat everybody with equal respect.
yeah,
Um,
so simple but so effective.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think if you did just kind of stand by that, I try to be like a very kind person, and yeah,
I feel like there's also at the moment, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed it as well, but it seems like there's like a bit of a confidence like crisis going on. Like a lot of people are kind of scared
Yeah.
to speak up and do what they feel, or take risks.
yeah.
Do you think that like that's something that you've noticed in school and like amongst young people, or even I've even noticed it around like people our age, like not necessarily like young people. It just feels like we're all like afraid of the unknown a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And that was one of the reasons, but for my decision to leave teaching is kind of that, stepping out.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be, massively powerful as well. So, yeah.
Well, it's like the system that we're kind of like brought up into is to kind of maybe to go against that and like not take risks when really,
They can, they can pay off them, they might not pay off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather feel it's something I'm passionate in than stick with something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Okay. What would you kind of like advise for someone who has ADHD as like a way to help alleviate like their symptoms? Like I guess there's different sort of symptoms and different ways to alleviate each of those. Like, can you give some tips for some of the viewers?
Absolutely. So it depends what type, but general ADHD support. So if you're a parent looking at this, listening to this, and you say, I don't know how to help my child. The main thing is connection. And normally what happens when, a child's struggling, there might be a disruption in the connection. And I don't mean that from parent to child. Sometimes that can happen. But I mean, it could be child to teacher. It could be child to football coach. So there could be like a disruption somewhere. And when we need like build and connect, and I think it's really important. I'm obviously a parent myself, looking after your own, making sure you're emotionally, regulated in a right place. So if you're already dysregulated and you're trying to support a dysregulated child, it won't work. You could be fighting fire with fire, and it's being in tune. So if you need to go and take like 5 minutes before you address something with your child, do it. If you need to, there's so much like screen time, like don't give this. It's so detrimental to the mental health of this child. If you need to put your child on a screen just to give yourself 10 minutes of respite until you can compose yourself, regulate, and say, right, this is what I need you to do. You do that, because it's so important to look after yourself, to make sure you're at a calm, neutral state. If you're gonna be like challenging some behavior, say, or so I think it's really important to look after yourself. Key ADHD tips would be acceptance. For me is massive. Yes, there's a real struggle around acceptance. We're trying to shift the negative stigma attached to ADHD. So there was a study done that by the time a child reaches year 7, they would have already received over 20,000 negative comments like linked. So they're already, down here, which is and it's people that I don't want ADHD, I don't want it, and it's something you can't change. It's neurodevelopmental. It's your brain type, but with acceptance, of course there are things that you're gonna have to learn to deal with to overcome, like RSD being a big one, but there's also so many positives. You know, I've got, endless energy. I'm able to see things that other people can't. And I think if you can truly learn strategies to be able to regulate yourself, if you can get to a point of self-regulation as an ADHDer, you've done yourself proud. So there's 3 types of regulation. There's self-regulation, which is the ultimate goal, equipping the child with the tools and the skills to regulate themselves. Then there's co-regulation. This is what I do a lot of. So that's where you use somebody else to co-regulate, someone to support you through that process. That steady adult, that safe person who, when you're coming out of class, you might be kicking doors. Instead of being like, oh, stop kicking the doors, it'd be like, come on, mate, come breathe with us for 2 minutes.
Love that
Come
approach.
Come on a movement break. We'll go help them get the water and fill up the water fountains, type of thing. Trying to come do some Lego in my room for 10-15 minutes just to take your mind off things. Oh yeah, actually, but they're so used to be hitting with, and then immediately it raises them with, oh, what I'm going to do, and it just goes and it escalates and escalates and escalates. Whereas if you come in like a two choice ultimatums is a good one for ADHD, where there's literally 2 choices. I use it with my daughter all the time. Right, it's this or this. It's very direct. So it's not like don't do this, because sometimes with the language with don't, so if in the corridor you've got ADHD, we've got a massive corridor with ADHD kids will run like during break time when they're excited to go outside. So if they're running, what do you think I say? Don't run.
Please slow down.
So it'd be like walk, and I'll put a like hand signal, and that's me, and it's just kind of reframing language. Don't get me wrong, I've said don't run, and there'll be times where you slip back into it, but yeah.
You have to check yourself in those moments.
Oh,
well.
yeah. And there's times where you'll reflect and think, yeah, that wasn't the right strategy today. I could have used this, and of course, like there's times where I've got things wrong. Of course I have. But I'm not making the same mistakes over and over and over.
Yeah,
again, is the key thing. I'll try and adapt, and if maybe a movement break doesn't work that time, I'll try something different. I'll try some mindfulness. I'll try like a rote activity. I'll try some heavy labor, and depending on that child's like profile as well, they'll have key things on what to avoid and what works as well. And it's having awareness of that documentation as well is so powerful, especially if if you're a supply member of staff and you're going into a classroom, actually getting a debrief on knowing, well, don't mention this to that child. I remember once I was covering a year 3 class, and I was really early in my career, and it was a topic on like in science to do with like animals and insects and mini beasts and all sorts. And we were going through, and one of them was to do with a spider. Now, I had an autistic lad in the classroom who was terrified of spiders, and any time you mention a spider, he runs out the room. So I just had this PowerPoint presentation I was going through, and the next slide was a spider. And the next thing someone just went, oh, he ran out the room. So I didn't have an awareness of that. So it's things like having an awareness of, knowing that child holistically, and editing your practice to suit. And I think you could, like, I've done that with English as well, whereas I can incorporate personal interests into the national curriculum as well. So, if we're doing like non-fiction writing, you have to write a letter. You don't have it like a set agenda on what the context of that letter is. You link it to a personal interest. So you could be like, yeah, right, I'm going to write to, the DFE. So, to make change. Or it could be linked to, I want to write to my favourite boxer. And then once you do that, you've got more, you're going to get more engagement, because it's something, it's actually something I've kind of linked in, but there's only so much of that you can do.
Yeah, and there's a lot for a teacher to have to remember.
Oh, well, in a mainstream, like that would be is more challenging. It's quite easy for me to see when I've got a max class setting of like 10 to 12. But I think there'll be probably common interests as well in classes that you could use. So yeah,
Yeah.
use to your advantage.
But I think a lot of those skills also could be transferable into like the home as well, like how to kind of de-escalate situations and
Yeah.
certain triggers. Regulation, I think like regulation sounds like we should all be regulated in ourselves.
I forgot the last one.
Yeah, go on.
So I said there's 3 types of regulation. This is it's classic ADHD, man. So yeah, self-regulation, co-regulation, and peer regulation. So peer regulation is where you use a good peer to support a friend. Now, be really careful who you choose. Make sure you don't choose a peer who's going to encourage the other one to do something wrong. So yeah, I've had that one before. Like, don't get a peer that can encourage someone to abscond, run off. Not great. So avoid that one. Sometimes it's really powerful. I've had ones where I'd be like, oh, we go check him out, have a word with it, like, and
That's nice.
and they get a little sense of dopamine win from it, and be like, oh, well, I've helped regulate that, that child.
It gives them responsibility as well.
And they've got like a sense of like purpose, belonging, and they feel good from it, and that's really important as well. But yeah, make sure you select your peers wisely.
Okay, yeah, don't want to be giving them the devil on their shoulder.
Well, you could do that if you had siblings and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And what the hardest things that parents face is we use change of staff, change of face. So I could be trying to regulate a dysregulated child, and it might just not be working, and that could be the catalyst. Everything I've tried, but sometimes all it takes is a fresh face, fresh approach, and sometimes you can't do that if you're a single parent. It's really hard. So that's why I was trying to encourage. Well, go out and go put the kettle on, have a cup of tea, coffee, have 10 minutes, and then kind of reset. Because it must be so challenging as being a parent of a son child, and not having like your village to rely on.
Yeah,
it must be so difficult, especially when you're trying to regulate your child, and it must be really difficult.
Well, you can see how that a situation like that would escalate if you were trying to regulate and you weren't regulated yourself as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned screen time earlier as well. Do you believe that the effects of like short form content and the abundance of content and how kind of infatuated we all are with social media is detrimental to all of our attention spans, and does that exaggerate ADHD symptoms?
Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah, it is. It is. It's it's like exaggerating one of the traits of ADHD. Obviously, attention is a major part of it. And yeah, attention is getting worse. And my audience, obviously, a lot of ADHD has. It's quite hard to hook them because they're just, which is fine, but my audience is one of the hardest to hook. Chosen. So I need to up my content as well.
Have you cracked the formula, you think? I mean, you're doing well. Like, have you cracked the formula for what you think makes an engaging enough video to hook your audience?
Well, that's what I was most proud of the book. It's not just, a 30,000 word book. It's written and broken down and accessible for an ADHD brain. And I've thought about things that I don't think have ever genuinely been done in a book before. I don't think there's many books that says, it's got a built-in movement break. You can follow a QR code, and you can follow a tutorial of me like dancing. Or I don't think there's many books that encourage you to sit down, regulate yourself, and come back to it later.
But the amazing thing about the book as well is like we're seeing kids are actually like hooked and gripped to it as well, which is
I've had feedback sometimes it's been the first book my ADHD child's been able to read, and due to the format it's in, and that was amazing for me to hear that.
Yeah,
because that was, I think some people are like noticing like the little details. And you got to remember, this book is a trilogy. It's a journey. So the aim of book 1 is like acceptance and learning like the key strategies, into giving you the confidence to be like, okay, I can deal. This is what it is. I can deal with some of the trickier aspects of ADHD, and because it's not all positives, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but we'll have to be aware of the some of the negatives, such as RSD. But what can we do about it? There's so much saying, oh yeah, RSD's out there, but what can we actually do? What can I actually do to improve my executive function? How can I actually start and initiate tasks? How can I work in memory? How can I regulate my emotions? So yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a heck of a journey. I can see that, yeah, there's already the demand and excitement building for book number 2. And you love a trilogy. So we're speaking to the publishers, like, Jamie loves a trilogy. He's a big Star Wars man, big Lord of the Rings fan.
I am really excited for book 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, you got to see this because it's your book, but this is more powerful than book 1. This is going to, equip, children with the skills to be able to manage some of the tricky parts. So yeah, I'm so excited to be out in October for ADHD Awareness Month. The front cover looks fantastic. It's killing it. It's absolutely killing us not being able to review it.
I can tell. I can see it in you now, right now.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
I hope to do some more like book signings. That was a surreal and amazing event. I met so many amazing ADHD neurodivergent children when I obviously went to Waterstones and in Newcastle into spiral staircase, and I was on the ground floor, and there was queues going up the staircase, and those children, some of those ADHD children, were waiting in the queue for 2 to 3 hours. Absolutely amazing.
It's unheard of.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, God, I'm so proud of you guys. Like,
Yeah, next time I'll be in the queue doing movement breaks.
Next time we're going to make it more inclusive. I don't think we realised, like, how many people were going to be there at all. So next one we'll make it way more inclusive. Like we'll schedule, rather than just a line. So look at that. Sorry for that, but yeah, we'll get that right now. So.
Nice. I can see you're fidgeting, so I got a little surprise. But I basically got a selection of fidget toys, which I'm keen to just get your take on what's the most effective here. Basically, I want a review on each of these.
This is really good, right? This is from obviously evidence-based practice. Never give a child one that's a ball shape, because it will be started off your head. That's I've had one thrown off my head.
Step 1.
Yeah. So try nothing like this really, because for this it's great in terms of like squeezing, but you've got to be the impulse. If you've got an impulsive ADHD child, this is just going to get lobbed off someone, or like this is going to be bouncing around. So I would say, if you know the individual and they're not going to throw this, perfect.
Okay.
But knowing some of my my ADHD children, this would get they would do this for a few minutes, and then it would get launched across the room.
So maybe good for if you're on your own, or if you want to give it to someone who isn't going to be around authority.
Yeah.
Feel tempted to dash it at their head.
Yeah. So that's that one.
Okay. So what would you rate that? Give us a rating out of 10.
So I would say sensory output. It's quite firm. So I would like it to be a little bit softer.
Oh yeah.
I would say sensory output for that one, probably like a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Okay.
I would say effectiveness in the classroom depends on your cohort.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Right. Next up, these things. I'm sure you're familiar with these.
Yeah.
Feel free. Get stuck in. Pop that. You don't look. I thought you'd like this one. You don't look impressed.
This, right. I'll explain why.
Okay.
So the thing that's bugging us with this is something called misophonia, which is linked to ADHD, and it's like
what's it called? Sorry, say it again.
Misophonia, and it's linked to certain sounds that you can. I don't like the sounds of this.
Ah,
so
interesting.
It's linked to certain sounds. So when that's popping, I'm just like, yeah,
misophonia, and that's unique to every like neurodivergent person, basically. Yeah,
it's heavily linked to neurodivergence. And you don't like it's a sensitivity to like certain sounds. And
okay. So you don't like the sound, but the feels good, or
the texture is good.
I actually, this is the first time I've used one of these, and I thought that it would feel better than it does, if I'm honest as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm with you on this one. So what are you going to rank this one out of 10? You're getting into it a little bit now.
I was trying to see if I kind of put it further down if I don't hear it. Yeah, that's not for me. Like,
no, it's very quiet in here as well. If it was a louder room, the sound might not be as prominent.
Yeah,
bit of.
I think there's been pop-up ones that are a little bit nicer than this.
Okay,
I think to use.
So
probably
the quality of this one isn't up to standards.
it's too poppy,
Yeah. Okay.
too loud. And it depends. This was like a bit like a definitely. Well, I've seen these obviously quite a bit, and this was more of a kind of a trend one. So we noticed these were coming in all different types of shapes and sizes, and yeah, popping.
So out of 10,
Probably a 2.
2.
Right.
Okay.
I'm brutal. I'm brutal. Like,
so well. Okay, this one. Here you go. You can take that. This is also, I feel like it's probably going to be quite disruptive, but these were quite fun when we were kids. Me and my brother used to enjoy these.
I'm telling you now, I've had ones like I've tried this and stuff before and it doesn't work.
Right.
In an SEMH classroom, you'll either get it slapped off the table, so it'll aggravate the autistic children in the classroom, or it'll aggravate the misophonia, or you'll just get slapped off slapped off a table or slapped off a student.
Yeah. Someone trying to slap it on something.
Yeah.
So
that's going to, it's loud, it's distracting. For me, the best sensory fidget tools are ones that you can use where you can still take in information from the board. So something maybe like under the desk, like sensory putty or something like that.
Well,
okay. So I would rate that. I wouldn't use that. 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Okay, 0 out of 10 for the slapstick. Here you go.
All right. Okay.
Little noodle for you. I think these are quite good. I thought you might like these ones.
Sensory output, great. Like the texture, like the feel of it. It's got lovely sensory output.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 8 out of 10 sensory output.
Okay.
Actual success rate in an SMH school, I would say quite slim. Instantly, I want to do this.
It's like, so your demons really come out with these
impulsively, and that's going to appeal to so many. So, and you're going to have some expectations and boundaries around this.
Okay.
You're going to use this and be like, right, I want you to use this to fidget with, and if I see any slingshots, we're gonna have to, use something different.
I don't know how far you'd actually be able to get that, but yeah. Okay, but no, I think it could also work like, could be discreet. If the person was behaved, they could use it under the table.
They can obviously stretch it.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit of self-harm, so you be careful you don't ping it in your face.
Yeah.
And just be aware that could be used to target other students and potentially be more distracting.
Okay. Out of 10?
It's nice sensory output, then I'll say give it a 4 out of 10. Depends on what we're grading it on. Like if it's sensory output or if I think it's going to work in a classroom.
Yeah, I think just like all round,
I'd say 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Okay, yeah. We're still really not doing very well. Let me see what else we got. Okay, similar to that. I've got these little.
Okay. All right. Okay. So straight away, this is like the smiley faces giving me a little bit of dopamine.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is the best. This is the best so far.
Yeah.
This is the best so far.
Just like nice and simple as well. Like you can't really, you could probably ping that a little bit, but
so straight away I'm thinking you could definitely build like an amazing activity around this. You could give each child one of these. You can do this when you come in September. You do like an about me like worksheet all about me. You give them this. You can design like a little superhero cape for it. I'm only thinking like this could be massively used.
Yeah, great idea for any SEN teachers out there.
Yeah, so they can have like an all about me, and then this is like that little friend. You can, if you're struggling to regulate, you can whisper it to your little friend.
Love it.
And they can co-regulate. It could be. Yeah, that's meant.
So out of 10, this is gonna score.
This is gonna score 9.2 out of 10.
Ooh, what a leap! Okay.
Just because of the potential, like it's small. It's not gonna. You can't cause much damage with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be distract. You can definitely have you got different faces there as well?
Yeah, mine's got a little cheeky like wink face on it.
The reason for 9.2 would be it could be different colours.
Yeah.
And Yeah, but I think it's a really nice sensory output.
You can also kind of play with it as well. Like you could, put that in a different, in like a little setting, build a little house for it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The reason I've given 9.2 as well is just it's small, so if you lose it, the child might be gutted. So
Okay.
that's the reason that what I was thinking. Like if you're like using this guy to help, co-regulate your emotions, if you lose them, you might be a bit upset.
Okay.
So that's why I would say that.
9.2 for the little man, right?
He's really good.
We've got a couple more, or a few more. Let me see what else we got in this. Here we go. This one's interesting.
Yeah, I had these before.
You know this one?
Yeah.
I've never seen these before. It's like one of those finger traps, but with a ball in the middle of it.
It's good for repetition.
Uh-huh.
It's silent, which
Yeah.
is good, so it's not going to distract, many learners around you. It's got quite nice sensory input. That's 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. I think it's one like visually as well. When you kind of look at it, it's got a little visual element to it.
I just don't think this is going to keep attention for like that long from this, because it's quite back and forward. But I do get the principle and repetition behind it.
Okay, 6 out of 10. That's an okay score. Okay, well,
I love this game.
There's only one of these in this pack. The classic.
Oh, yeah, we go.
The classic.
Yeah, we go.
So you must have been teaching when these came around like that first time, and they were everywhere.
Well, yeah, my children have got like their own like school bank accounts, so they can earn money towards like their school bank accounts for making like series of good choices. They get they get money for all sorts, like doing great in lessons and other things. And we used to get loads of orders, but like they wanted like ones that were like metal and spiky, and it just got crazy. So the thing with this is the noise. I think if it's really good for attention. So I'm looking at straight away, and with a fidget spinner as well, you're able to like put it under the desk.
Yeah,
and you're able to like spin it. But what you're having was this.
All
the time, and it was distracting. So if you had like, which is great, you notice the pop on these is
I haven't seen that on a fidget spinner before. It's got the poppers as well.
It's got like the poppers on it as well. Yeah, that's the only thing. And then
there's something about the feel of it. Like even when you can't see it spinning, but you spin it and you can feel it spinning in your hand.
It's I've got a golden snitch fidget spinner on like Lord of the Rings style desk, and that one's like really aesthetic to look at.
Yeah,
like it's quite therapeutic to look at when it's spinning, because it looks like it's flying.
Nice.
Whereas this one, it's just kind of like, it's a lovely sensation, but I still think because I'll probably give it 5 out of 10.
Right.
The reason I'm ranking it lower than that one is just due to the noise. I know people, and I just know that can be distracting. If you could make a silent fidget spinner,
there probably is one out there.
Then you're
I think maybe not
a winner.
Yeah. Okay, I've only got one of these as well, so I'm going to hand this to you. But this is quite an interesting one. You've seen this before?
Yeah. So this is a fidget cube. Same thing. So it's initially good. It's repetitive. You can fold it in different ways. But again, it's still it's loud.
Yeah, that is quite loud.
It's not very nice to feel.
No,
it's rough plastic texture.
I feel like you're bashing the quality of my fidget toys.
Probably 2 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. I thought score a bit higher. Bear in mind that was like one of the deluxe items in this box. Okay, I feel like I already know you're not going to enjoy these.
Oh, yeah, we go.
Oh, that's very disruptive, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see my face. Like I don't need us to see anything of that. Like,
I mean, it's borderline annoying.
I've never seen these them might for some children. They've never worked successfully in my classroom.
No,
but that's not to say like.
But for you as an ADHD, is that satisfying for you? No,
not
at all.
Like, no.
Okay, what you scoring that one?
I'm just like, well, what's the pit? What like? what is it, like a Mario pipe? Like what? I just
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's meant to be. Oh, hold on. Oh no, I think maybe you could screw one into the other because it looks like it's got like a thread on it. I feel like you could attach one to the other if you wanted to, but
it might be good for like a STEM activity,
mm,
but yeah, I wouldn't be putting this into my fidget toolbox.
no. Okay,
Chance.
so how you scoring that one?
1.
Begrudgingly giving it a 1. Okay, we've got a couple more, and then we'll round off this segment. Actually, yeah, there's a few more. Here we go. These are quite cool.
Okay.
Little spike ball.
Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. So, yeah, nice sensory output, different texture, small. It is ball shaped, so it could be thrown, but it's smaller than that. It's
Could be thrown, but it probably, it wouldn't do any damage if you did get hit, but it would just be, more of an annoyance than anything.
It's quite a weird texture, but it is
Mm.
it is, yeah. It's silent. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10.
Ah, that's pretty good. Okay. So that's a runner-up right now. And then I've only got one of these as well, so I'll hand this over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, these are great.
That's,
these are like fab for STEM, and like you can connect them to make like different shapes and different designs. But again, it's plasticky, so it's not great for like sensory output. And it's very clicky.
When you say it's plastic, like what's the?
It's just you just won't get a nice texture and a nice sensory output from plastic.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there's no like with this one you can feel the ridges, and it's like a soft texture, where this is just hard plastic.
Yeah.
Even with the little guides, a nice like rubbery soft texture, where this is just straight up.
Yeah.
There's no like grooves or anything to kind of make it like stand out in any way. So very smooth plastic. 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Because you can make some cool shapes and stuff with it. And I've seen kids be really creative.
Yeah.
Build like do like snakes and worms and whatever, like
nice
houses.
They still have in schools the little plastic blocks with like it's like Lego, but
like multi-link blocks.
Yeah.
So all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, see, this is it's like the fidget ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's linked. It's called a finger massager apparently.
Yeah.
Because you can't see that on the camera.
It's quite nice. It's obviously a different type of sensation as well. It's quite aesthetic, nice to look at, a nice colour. It's eye-catching. It's engaging.
Metal as well. Fidget feels the things.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I think
it's definitely giving like a different type of sensory output to what we've had before. So it's not the same. It's a little bit different.
Silent, discreet.
Discreet. It's not overly comfortable though.
I mean, reckon people are gonna be actually wearing?
No, I don't mean. I just mean actually when you put like.
Oh, but isn't that the point? Isn't that meant to kind of like trigger something? Some kind of.
I don't know. I think it's kind of kind of hyper aware of, it's leaving marks on my hand.
Okay. We don't want to sell fast.
Yeah, because I see where that's been. I'm gonna be this 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay, last one. Traditional
classic
slinky. These ones haven't actually been used, so they're not even broken in. So you can literally unravel that for the first time. Obviously, this is a miniature slinky. Traditional slinky is a lot larger than that, but a classic household toy.
I would worry about us getting pinged.
Like the risk assessment that comes.
It's always risk assessment. I'm always thinking like that. This could self harm you, and I've seen this happen before, It's pinged off a kid.
Really?
Oh yeah, they just let go.
Yeah.
Not ideal. It's got quite nice sensory output. I like the, obviously it's quite therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's nice color
Colours
gradient
on there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not just one color. It's quite sensory. It's quite relaxing. I'd probably say. I think you could definitely put some expectations and boundaries around the use of this. Like, you obviously don't stretch it too far and stuff. 7.
7. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I think the little guy, the little people are the winners.
That's the winner of the fidget toy review here today on the School of Influence podcast. Love it. You can keep that.
Yes.
You can keep that for your journey home.
Fidgeting with this all the way.
So I just want to say, man, like, it's honestly like a real pleasure working with you. You've really inspired me on this journey with School of Influence, and I want to say thank you on behalf of School of Influence and your audience as well for all the amazing work you're doing. We know you've got an incredibly bright future ahead, and very proud to be part of it.
Likewise. Let's go. Let's have it.
Let's do it. Nice one, man. Okay, well, thanks a lot for coming on. We'll leave it there.
Lush. Thanks, mate.